guys, and thanks so much for those watching on live TV on UTV. Scott Kornberg and head coach Charlie Fisher. This is presented by our good friends at the Brown Shoe Fit Company. Coach Fisher, this was a fun one this Saturday against Indiana State. We'll kind of get through some of the bigger moments of the game, of course. How did you like the way your team responded, first of all, coming off of this conference opening loss against South Dakota State?
Well, there's no doubt our intent was good, and we practiced very well all week. I felt like we were really ready to go. Homecoming is always a little concerning because of the distractions. A lot of people back on campus, a lot of things that can pull your players in a lot of different directions. But, you know, we didn't start as fast as I'd hoped. I didn't think we played out very good offensively in the first quarter. Once we started getting rhythm, we played very well. I thought our defense came out and set the tone early, and but we responded at the end as a championship team should, and we found a way to get it done in the end.
And the Leathernecks are 4-1 on the season, 1-1 in conference play. We have a big show coming up. Luke Otto will join us in a little bit. He's a really, really interesting guy. Of course, we want to hear from you as well. You can tweet in any of your questions. We've got a couple already. We've got a great crowd at hand here, so if any of you guys want to come up and ask a question for Coach Fisher, for Luke, we'll welcome you guys up in the third segment of our show, so keep that in mind as well. But you mentioned the defense holding early on. In the first half, Sean McGuire then runs one in from 11 yards out. That ties the game at 7-7. And then you get kind of a weird play with Robert Tanyan catching one and then running it off two deflections, 65 yards, which leads right into Lance Lenore's 68-yard touchdown catch on your first play from scrimmage. 11:18 to go here in the second quarter. Sycamores lead by 7. 1st and 10 for Western on the right hash of their own 32, right to left. McGuire from the shotgun, quick throw, slant left, caught by Lenore, racing up the seam, now bouncing it outside, sideline 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Western Illinois. Indiana State goes one play, and the Leathernecks say anything you can do, we can do better after a 65-yard touchdown to Robert Tanyan. How about 68 yards from Sean McGuire to Lance Lenore, and the Leathernecks an extra point away from tying again with 11:07 to go in the second. So your defense, you mentioned, kind of held down the fort early on, and your offense sort of picks it up in that second quarter. Can you talk about Sean McGuire? Gets that touchdown run. Then obviously this slant play really kind of broke things open for Lance Lenore. Yet another touchdown in his career, and he's just 15 away from becoming the Missouri Valley Football Conference's all-time leading receiver. Can you talk about what this offense did to turn things around in that second quarter?
Well, obviously Sean started to get in a better rhythm. The penalty early on hurt us. We had the long run by Lance, and it took us back. We had a fumble in there off the jet sweep where we weren't in the right. We just weren't in rhythm. We botched the snap there, and it put us back. We just, couldn't get out of our way, so to speak. We were trying hard. It had nothing to do with effort. We just weren't executing well enough. Once we got going with a player or two and Sean started to kind of hit them, we started to get going. We went to some empty. That helped. And our defense was playing good. The play to Tanyan was a fluke. It happens, but I don't know that I've ever seen a ball hit a guy in the back of the head, bounce up off our guy, and then he grabs it, spinning around kind of in stride and goes down the sideline. Great answer, though. We got an isolation on Lance to the field side off of motion. They stayed one-on-one. He beat him, hit the crease, and outran him. So that was a huge answer for us, and then we carried a lot of momentum into halftime.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned that momentum coming into halftime. 14-13. You get the football back with 1:39 to play, and I think this is one of the biggest drives of the game, going all the way down the field and then scoring on this Lance Lenore 1-yard touchdown catch with just 13 seconds to go in the half. 1st and goal, middle of the field, 1. Heavy set eye, Lenore, the only receiver to the right. McGuire play action, rolls to the right, looking for Lenore. Back corner of the end zone, he makes the catch. Touchdown, Leathernecks. Lance Lenore from Sean McGuire. The second time they connect for 6. And Western has their first lead of the game, 19-14, with 13 seconds to go in the half. 2-minute drill. Can you take us through that one?
We work on it all the time. So as a head coach or an offensive guy, you want to see that drill executed, and we spend a lot of time on it. Many times in practice, it's a lot harder against our guys. They're used to seeing our sets and everything, but ran to perfection. We used the clock the way we wanted to. I think we had one timeout. We were able to use that right exactly as is. We used all the plays that we wanted to use, executed it at the end. So good feeling to see us go. I see 8 plays, 79 yards, a minute 26. You couldn't draw it up any better than that.
Yeah, you left 13 seconds on the clock there. That worked out pretty well. You are a guy who loves quarterback play, and you stand by Sean McGuire, who's done an excellent job this year. You keep a whole binder of some of the things you've discovered about the quarterback position. Who's the guy you really like to have Sean watch, or who you like to emulate, or who'd like your quarterbacks to emulate when running the 2-minute drill?
Well, it's hard to beat Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he's fantastic. Joe Montana was probably at the top of the list of that. I mean, he was unbelievable. Marino, I go on and on. So many guys are really good at that. The best ones always are. They just get in rhythm quick, and they find check downs. They're able to just keep the ball moving down the field. And Sean did a great job of it. He did a great job with protection on the line of scrimmage, making the Mike IDs. Of course, how could we forget about Tom Brady and how he is? I mean, there's a handful of guys that are elite at this. And to be at the high end of quarterback play, you got to be able to command the line of scrimmage, got to be able to get in good plays, make Mike IDs, change protection, and the list could go on and on. But, I've learned a lot over the years just from trial and error, being around it, coaching it, and, it's fun to see when it's done right. It
was done right at the end of that first half. Into the second half we go. Steve McShane, he's back again, continuing another great season, or his first great season here as a sophomore. 2-yard touchdown run makes it 27-14 in the third quarter. Second and goal, left hash of the 2. I formation, Ackland the wide out to the right. McGuire hands off to McShane, sprinting ahead for the touchdown. Steve McShane from 2 yards out, 26-14. Western Illinois, they lead with 8:24 to go in the third. 8:24 to go in the third, and then we talked about sort of a crazy play in the second quarter, which ended up in a 65-yard touchdown for Indiana State. The Sycamores had a wild run of 3 touchdowns in about 3 minutes in that third quarter right after this touchdown from Steve McShane. What happened there, and what did you say to your team to get them back into the football game?
Well, I think here's kind of sequence. We went in at halftime. I said, we're starting to get control of this game, and we should play better, and we need to play better. So let's get a 3 and out. Let's get the ball and drive it and score, and let's really take total control of this game. And both scenarios played out exactly how we talked about. 3 and out, get the ball, 10 plays, 65 yards, touchdown. Seemingly we're in control. I never like to chase the point. It always bothers me. We miss an extra point early. That point always hangs in the back of your brain, and it just changes the dynamic of the score. And everything flipped through our special teams. We weren't very good on special teams. We've been fantastic all year. We weren't very good Saturday. It nearly cost us. And, what happened when Lance got run into by Stacy. Stacy kind of lost spatial awareness of where he was. He was trying to look up a block. He runs into him. The ball's on the ground. Boom, just like that, the game turned. It's probably what makes the game special. It doesn't make it easy for me, though. When the momentum changes and you can feel it on the sideline, they started to get a little bit of life because they were close to where we could have knocked them out, I think. But credit to them. They battled, they took advantage of the mistake, and turned the game around.
Well, that's a good football team over there in Indiana State. 35-27, so it swings from 27-14 Western to 35-27. Indiana State, you come marching down the field again, and I think this is a really interesting play. Sean McGuire rolls left, he comes back to the right. He's chased by all kinds of players by Indiana State and kind of lost one to your running back in the back corner of the end zone, Jamie Gilmore, who comes down with a catch, who's really had a nice season here, his first year in Macomb. Here's that play from McGuire to Gilmore. Indiana State up by 8. McGuire in the shotgun, trips left, Gilmore to his right. Third and goal, right hash of the 9. McGuire, straight drop back. Indiana State rushes 3. Looking over the middle, looking left, flush left. Now flush to the right, looking right. Still looking in the back of the end zone, floats it up, jump ball! It is no signal yet.
Touchdown!
Touchdown! Jamie Gilmore on the jump ball. He comes down with it, and Western Illinois needs 2 to tie. Gilmore from 9 yards out, 35-33, 14:46 remaining. That's a heck of a play from Jamie Gilmore, and I think something that goes unlooked is Sean McGuire it's a 38-second clip we just played, literally about 10 seconds for himself to be able to make that throw and finally wear down the coverage.
Yeah, and he fooled Doc Cody, too, along the way, didn't he, huh? He did run it. But, you know, he worked left, he worked right, looked like Fran Tarkington. He rolled out to the right, got outside the numbers. I really think he was really looking up Zeke LaShore, who was coming across the back. Jamie poached it right in front of him, went up and took it. He was ahead of him. It's hard to say, but, you know, Jamie did a great job of coming down with the balls. I've said this, Jamie Gilmore, fantastic teammate, and he's been a great compliment to our running backs. He's unselfish. Jamie's a young man I recruited at Miami, Ohio, and he's a good player. I said that in preseason camp. He came in here, he fit right in. He had a very good camp, hampered by a hamstring injury all throughout camp after the first week. And really, you're starting to see him kind of get back in the flow really since Northern Illinois. He started to get in the flow. He's played very, very well. Made some big catches for us. The screen pass really to start the 2-minute drive where he split them and got about 11 yards. And then that catch, you know, obviously was maybe the turning point of the whole game.
Yeah, 3 minutes later, Nathan Knuppman hits a 41-yard field goal. Those last 10 minutes, sort of a back and forth. Indiana State, at the end of the football game, we asked you this after the game. What happened on that 4th and 1 from the 29-yard line? It looked like just kind of a mishmash of bodies, and ultimately it's a 4th down stop, and you're able to take control, essentially win the game on that play, punt it off, and then make one more stop. But what happened on that 4th down there?
Well, you know, I can't speak for them because I'm not in their huddle, but looking at it, my guess is that they probably wanted to lull us to sleep a little bit because they'll do like the rush to the line of scrimmage, kind of get you lulled to sleep, have trouble getting lined up, and then run the quarterback sneak for maybe a yard or half a yard. What they needed there wasn't very much. And I think along the way, Brett Taylor kind of jumps at the line of scrimmage, center flinches, probably snaps it too quick, quarterback's not ready for it, and boom, he puts it on the ground, picks it up. By now, he'd lost all his momentum. We had, you know, gotten through the gaps and really corralled him, and he had no chance. So that's what I'm thinking happened. I'm, you know, just based on a coach looking at the play, I think they were trying to catch us off guard. Probably backfired on them. If they had to do all over again, I'm sure they maybe banged a timeout, kicked the field goal, or get their best play to go for it. My understanding, looking at what their kicker has done, they were on the fringe of his length. So that probably made the decision a little bit harder. Anytime you're on the fringe, you kind of, you know, you go through a lot of questions. That
would have been a 46 or 47-yard field goal in that neighborhood, and his career long was 43. Western Illinois wins it 36-35. Their kickoff specialist, Luke Otto, will join us next. This is the Charlie Fisher Radio Show presented by our good friends at the Brown Shoe Fit Company. We'll be right back.
Garrett Covington chose Western Illinois University because of the law enforcement program and the chance to be a Leatherneck.
Western has one of the best law enforcement programs in the nation, and I get to play the game I love. Whether I go pro or I go to law school, because of Western, I would take my success to another level. I am a success story. I am a Leatherneck.
Think purple, think success. Think Western Illinois University. For Lindsay Cutesy, one academic major at Western Illinois University wasn't enough.
My majors in Spanish, anthropology, and religious studies have given me incredible opportunities to study in Spain and in India.
Lindsay feels incredibly lucky to be a Leatherneck.
My goal is to work for a nonprofit that focuses on serving others. I am a success story. I am a Leatherneck.
Think purple, think success. Think Western Illinois University. Carissa Kuchis loves Western Illinois University.
Western lets you be who you want to be. The opportunities are unlimited, and people here really care.
Carissa has definitely made the most of her time at Western.
Advertising executive, life coach, talk show host. I'll do it all because I'm a success story. I am a Leatherneck.
Think purple, think success. Think Western Illinois University. Max Ford is continuing a family tradition as a Leatherneck.
Giving back to my hometown and representing the school I love is so rewarding.
His hard work in the classroom and on the track have
Specialist from Normal, Illinois, the backyard of Illinois State. First of all, thanks so much for coming on. This has been, I think, for you, a really, really fun season. It's been a great team to be on, and I think a big coming out party for you. You've already got 15 touchbacks this year. That leads the entire conference. Only one person is really remotely close, and you had 24 all of last season. What is the big difference for you in this big junior season so far?
Oh man, it would be, I guess the coaching obviously helps a lot, but having the support from my players and my teammates. I really haven't changed much from last year. I've just been working a lot more individually with the help of the coaches, and it's paying off. The schemes help, and just getting the coaching from Coach Boudreaux and Coach Hodges, it's helped a lot. So.
When you say getting the coaching, what can you give me a specific example of something they've done, maybe an adjustment or something like that that's helped you improve?
Yeah, I've had an adjustment on, I guess, my tempo, you could say, of my kickoff, slowing it down a little bit, my approach, and I've tweaked my approach before the season with some film, looking at it with JP, and so I did change my approach, and it's working a lot better this year.
This is Luke Otto, Western Illinois' kickoff specialist here in the Charlie Fisher radio show presented by our good friends at the Brown Shoe Fit Company. You're a guy, you literally focus on kickoffs, and a lot of people don't know what goes into just simply practicing for that every single day. I mean, you're out there too, you're still practicing. Can you take us through a whole practice? What are you doing to prepare for Saturday's game against Missouri State every single day this week?
Yeah, for practice, kickoffs are pretty different than doing field goals and punts, because you can punt a ball as many times as you want in a day, and same with field goals. But with kickoffs, you put a lot of energy into it, so you don't get many chances during the week, or you try not to. You try to kick off a little less than other kicks, and so you don't get as many chances during the week to prepare. But we kick off every day, but we don't do too many kicks, and you can only make you have to take advantage of what you get each week, and then just be prepared for the game on Saturday. So, yeah.
As a soccer player in high school, I know you played a little football as well. As a soccer player, how much different is it to kick in football versus to kick in soccer?
Well, it's pretty similar. That's actually the reason why I started kicking off in football. I use a soccer-style approach. It's a little different because just the movements, and use your upper body actually a little more in football than in soccer. But as far as it comes for kicking the ball itself, it's not too much different. And most guys who play soccer, like with my background, don't have that big of a problem adjusting to football.
One of the really cool things about being the guy on kickoffs, and you haven't had to go to this yet, hopefully not all year. You want to be winning by a lot and not have to go to an onside kick at a certain point. What is the art to getting off a good, is there even an art to getting off a good onside kick?
Yeah, there is an art. There's definitely an element of luck involved in the onside kicks, but it's just like everything else, like with a regular kickoff or a field goal. You get better at it with repetition. And there's, all the details that go into it, like the slant of the ball when you set it up, and where you hit it on the ground to get the big bounce. And hopefully we never get to use it, but I think we all feel confident enough in it, and it's been going well, so we have it.
What is that art? How do you slant the ball? What kind of angle are you trying to kick it off?
So usually you have it on the ground. You slant it up on the ground at about maybe like a 70 or so degree angle, so almost straight up, a little bit lean back. Hit it on the top of the ball, and this is when you kind of hope for a little bit of luck. Usually it bounces twice, and then on the second or third bounce, it goes up in the air, and that's when you've got the tall guys in the back jumping up for the ball, and that's the fun part, when it gets up in the air and they can make a play on it.
Those Javon Williams types, those tall wide receivers.
Exactly, Yep.
Luke Otto is joining us right now. He's Western Illinois' kickoff specialist. You mentioned some of your background. You're a guy who's nominated for the Rhodes Scholar this year, which is fascinating. You're the president at Western Illinois of the Student Athlete Advisory Committee. This is really, really big-time stuff. You volunteer in a number of different organizations in the community. First of all, Student Athlete Advisory Committee. What is that? What do you do as the president? How do you stick up for your fellow student athletes?
Yeah, the Student Athlete Advisory Committee at Western is a way ultimately to give students a voice in issues that are going on in the NCAA, whether it be practice times or traveling schedules, things like that the NCAA decides on every year. But then also with SAC, We do a lot of community service and volunteer organizations like events, working in the community and on the school campus. So I help direct that with Lisa Mells Jennings in the athletics department and with the help of all the athletes on campus. So that's mostly what it's geared towards.
With that stuff in the community, that volunteer service in the community, was a lot of guys, they volunteer because at a certain point one time, maybe in high school playing for their high school team, their coach said, all right, guys, we're going to go on this weekend and we're going to do this. And oftentimes there's a special connection or a special moment that makes them want to go back and or do more. Did you have a special moment in high school or at a certain point, even earlier in your life, that you said, I want to be able to give back to my community in Normal and heck, even here in Macomb?
Yeah, in high school, I volunteered a lot with food banks, but then in college, I had that moment when I was volunteering with Dance Marathon, actually, and I met somebody who was part of one of the families who we were dancing for, and his name is Corbin, and Corbin and I have stayed in touch for the past 2 years now, and he has cerebral palsy. He's a triplet. All of his brothers have cerebral palsy as well. But he and I connected because he also kicks in high school. He was able to kick in high school, and he came to our game against NIU a few weeks ago, and we got to get a win in front of him, so that was great.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Luke Otto is joining us. Last question for you on that background. You're an economics major. You don't normally see a football player be an economics major. It's a very, very rigorous academic pursuit. Why economics, and what are you trying to pursue maybe once your football career is over?
I chose economics early on because I was unsure of what I wanted to become or what I wanted to do in the business industry. But with it, I've taken some finance classes, and I've chosen to specialize in finance. And so with my economics degree, what I hope to go into is either commercial or investment banking out on the East Coast, work for a large bank. I find that interesting, so I'd like to do that.
I wouldn't know. I've heard the East Coast is a nice place to be. Luke Otto, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. Best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
All right, that's Luke Otto, Western Illinois kickoff specialist. When we come back, will join us to wrap up the Charlie Fisher Show, and he'll take some of your questions as well from those of us in our audience here at Buffalo Wild Wings in Macomb, or on Twitter at WIU Football, or my personal one is right here at Scott Kornberg, Kornberg. Thanks again to Luke Otto. We'll be right back with Charlie Fisher next. This is the Charlie Fisher Radio Show.
Garrett Covington chose Western Illinois University because of the law enforcement program and the chance to be a Leatherneck.
Western has one of the best law enforcement programs in the nation, and I get to play the game I love. Whether I go pro or I go to law school, because of Western, I would take my success to another level. I am a success story. I am a Leatherneck.
Think purple, think success. Think Western Illinois University. For Lindsay Cutesy, one academic major at Western Illinois University wasn't enough.
My majors in Spanish, anthropology, and religious studies have given me incredible opportunities to study in Spain and in India.
Lindsay feels incredibly lucky to be a Leatherneck.
My goal is to work for a nonprofit that focuses on serving others. I am a success story. I am a Leatherneck.
Think purple, think success. Think Western Illinois University. Carissa Kuchis loves Western Illinois University.
Western lets you be who you want to be. The opportunities are unlimited, and people here really care.
Carissa has definitely made the most of her time at Western.
Advertising executive, life coach, talk show host. I'll do it all because I'm a success story. I am a Leatherneck.
Think purple, think success. Think Western Illinois University. Max Ford is continuing.
Welcome back to the Charlie Fisher Radio Show here at Buffalo Wild Wings in Macomb. Literally every single Monday, 6 to 6:30. Another great crowd here today. We hope to see you all again every single Monday. For that and for the crowd here, another good one today, we want to raffle off a T-shirt. Can you do the honors, Coach Fisher?
Absolutely. We got to, let's see here. What do we got here? Dave Ard.
Dave Ard.
T-shirt. Thanks for being here, Dave. Big wave in the back. I like it.
All right, so we got that one down. We've also got a couple questions from our audience. First on Twitter from @JDeYoung, who asks, when he played football, plays were numbers like 121, 928. What is the most hip play call you have in your playbook?
Well, 121 and 928 sounds like the wing T, if I'm not mistaken, because that's how they used to name their plays in that. Ours is a little bit different than that. Ours is a little bit more pro style, but most everything is name association or concept association with your passing game. One might be like gun right trip 61 bun OPEC. All right, so bun is the strong side of the formation. OPEC would be a two-man route on the backside. Running game is all name association. So you'd like this: Sarah and Sally. That's the power. Girls' names. All right, Sarah to the right, Sally to the left. It allows you to have easy communication on the line of scrimmage. All we got to do is say, hey, right, Sarah, and you know what's going on. Okay, so we have a lot of ways to get it. We have shocker pass. That's one that is kind of unique. That's a trick play, so to speak. We got a lot of different ones, though. I've had some long names, some real long names.
The first one you said is a long name. I don't know if I can remember that one. So.
Yeah, sure you can. Gun right trip 61 OPEC.
Gun right trip 61 OPEC. When you're designing a play, where do you get your inspiration to just draw something up and say, all right, we're gonna implement this one, we're gonna use this one? I mean, where does that inspiration come from?
Well, it's all based on what they're doing. The quarters team, too deep, post safety, whatever it might be, and generally your reads in the pass game are either going to be based on the coverage, right or left, depending on what they're giving you, or a right to left or left to right read, where it's a full field read and you're going all the way across the field, trying to get from one end to the other, so your protection has to hold up. But what Sean has done a good job, and where most quarterbacks struggle early on, is being able to put their eyes in the right place. And that's where you got to be able to identify coverage through the weak safety, where he rotates, where he goes strong or weak. That determines where you throw the ball. Or if it's right to left or left to right based on strength, then will he put his eyes in the right place. And the other day, if you watch critically, Sean did a great job numerous times of manipulating the safety with his eyes, particularly when he threw the Lance down to the 1 yard line on the 2-minute drive. He pinned the weak safety on the hash to where he could throw the seam post on the right-hand side, and he put it in a good spot, actually, so Lance didn't get blown up by the backside safety. So he's coming. He's learning.
Last question for you on that note. For Sean, in his headset or when he's looking on the sideline, how many plays are you giving him? What are you maybe doing on the sideline to maybe tip an opponent off what you're trying to do? And what does he do with the line of scrimmage if he doesn't like what he sees?
That's easy. He's going to get a signal from Coach Elliott. Basically, it's going to correlate to the numbers on his wristband. It's very hard to know our signal system. It's kind of like a third base coach. Mm-hmm. You have to know what he's hitting on his body to get to each play. We may have 200 plays on his wristband, and they would correlate to left and right hash. He's going to flip it open and read it off, get us to the line, go through his cadence. It could be a quick cadence, could be a dummy cadence to help tip off what he's looking at. And if he wants to change the play, we got a live color. And then basically if he can get to anything he wants, really. But if it was, if he used gold or red or yellow, whatever the live color would be, that would basically, if he said gold Sarah, we'd get to the power. Gold race would get us to the draw. And he can kind of move in and out. We could gold a protection and give a hand signal for a route. So a lot of ways to handle it. He's got the keys to the car. We train him during the week. We train him throughout every day, throughout his career. And then that's why experience in this system helps him manipulate the line of scrimmage to get himself in and out of trouble.
He's 7-2 in his career, and he's 4-1 this season. Western Illinois plays at Missouri State at 2 o'clock Central Time on Saturday. Coverage begins at 1:30 on the Leatherneck Sports Network from Springfield. Coach Fisher, thanks so much for coming on.
Always.
I really appreciate it. Thank you to Luke Otto for joining us as well, and thank you to this great crowd, all of our listeners, and all of our viewers for the first time live on UTV. We'll be here at Buffalo Wild Wings in Macomb auctioning off T-shirts and meals next Monday, 6 to 6:30, and this show is presented by our friends at the Brown Shoe Fit Company. I'm Scott Kornberg saying good night here from Buffalo Wild Wings in Macomb. This has been the Charlie Fisher Radio Show. See you next week, everybody.
Garrett Covington chose Western Illinois University because of the law enforcement program and the chance to be a Leatherneck.
Western has one of the best law enforcement programs in the nation, and I get to play the game I love. Whether I go pro or I go to law school, because of Western, I would take my success to another level. I am a success story. I am a Leatherneck.
Think purple, think success. Think Western Illinois University. For Lindsay Cutesy, one academic major at Western Illinois University wasn't enough.
My majors in Spanish, anthropology, and religious studies have given me incredible opportunities to study in Spain and in India.
Lindsay feels incredibly lucky to be a Leatherneck.
My goal is to work for a nonprofit that focuses on serving others. I am a success story. I am a Leatherneck.
Think purple, think success. Think Western Illinois University. Carissa Kuchis loves Western Illinois University.
Western lets you be who you want to be. The opportunities are unlimited, and people here really care.
Carissa has definitely made the most of her time at Western.
Advertising executive, life coach, talk show host. I'll do it all because I'm a success story. I am a Leatherneck.
Think purple, think success. Think Western Illinois University. Max Ford is continuing a family tradition as a Leatherneck.
Giving back to my hometown and representing the school I love is so rewarding.
His hard work in the classroom and on the track have taught him perseverance and determination.
My training and my academic majors are preparing me for a solid career. I am a success story. I am a Leatherneck.
Think purple, think success. Think Western Illinois University.